If you were born before the 6th of August 1961, this video contains information that is specifically and urgently relevant to your retirement plans. The state pension age in the United Kingdom is changing, not in an abstract future sense, it is changing now, in 2026, and the change is already affecting people who are approaching retirement age this year. If you have made plans based on claiming your state pension at 66, and you were born after the 5th of March 1961, those plans may need to be revised. I want to be completely clear about what is happening before we go any further, because there is significant confusion in the media coverage of this issue, and I want to make sure you have the accurate picture. The state pension age for people born before the 6th of April 1960 is 66. That has not changed. If you are already receiving your state pension, your payments continue unchanged. If you were born before April 1960 and have not yet claimed, your state pension age is still 66. The change affects people born on or after the 6th of April 1960. For those born between the 6th of April 1960 and the 5th of March 1961, the transition began in April 2026, and their state pension age is between 66 and 67, phased in month by month. For those born between the 6th of March 1961 and the 5th of April 1977, the state pension age rises to 67, with the transition period running from August 2026 through to March 2028. Starting August 2026, the state pension age begins climbing from 66 to 67 for anyone born between the 6th of March 1961 and the 5th of April 1977. My name is James Whitfield. I have spent 16 years as an independent pension advisor, and the calls and messages I have been receiving from clients in their late 50s and early 60s about this change have increased significantly as August 2026 approaches. Many of them made retirement plans several years ago based on a state pension age of 66 and have only recently discovered that their own personal date has moved. Let me walk through exactly who is affected by how much and what to do. Your exact state pension age depends on your specific date of birth. If you were born between the 6th of April 1960 and the 5th of May 1960, your state pension age is 66 years and 1 month. If you were born between the 6th of May 1960 and the 5th of June 1960, your state pension age is 66 years and 2 months. The pattern continues, adding 1 month to the state pension age for each monthly birth cohort, until reaching 67 years exactly for anyone born on or after the 6th of March 1961. For example, if your birthday is between the 6th of June and the 5th of July 1960, your state pension age is 66 years and 3 months, which means you reach it in October 2026. The quickest way to find your exact state pension age is to use the government's online calculator at gov.uk. Search for Check Your State Pension Age, enter your date of birth, and the tool will tell you the exact date you reach state pension age, your pension credit qualifying age, and your free bus pass age. This calculation takes 2 minutes and gives you a precise answer rather than an estimate. For anyone born after the 5th of March 1961, the state pension age is 67 flat. You will reach state pension age on your 67th birthday. The transition from 66 to 67 will be fully complete by March 2028, when everyone born before the 6th of April 1977 will have reached state pension age at 67. Now let me address the practical impact of this change, because the extra months or years before state pension age are not just an abstract date change. They are a real gap in income that requires real planning. For someone born in June 1961, who expected to claim their state pension at 66 and retire in June 2027, the new state pension age of 67 means waiting until June 2028. That is 1 additional year without state pension income. At the current full new state pension rate of £241.30 per week, 1 additional year represents approximately £12,547 of income that will not arrive until a year later than expected. For someone who has already made pension fund access decisions, investment choices, or work reduction plans based on retiring at 66, this additional year can create a genuine financial gap that needs to be addressed. The income sources available to bridge this gap depend on your specific situation. If you have a workplace or personal pension, you can typically access it from age 55 under current rules, rising to 57 in 2028. A partial withdrawal from your pension during the gap year or months may be the most practical solution. Be aware that pension withdrawals are taxable income in the year they are taken, so managing the amount and timing to stay within lower tax bands is worth considering. If you have ISA savings, TFSA equivalents, or accessible investments, these can provide tax-efficient bridge income. ISA withdrawals are completely tax-free. If your income during the gap period falls below the pension credit threshold, you may be entitled to pension credit as well as a range of gateway benefits. The standard pension credit guarantee amount for a single person is £238 per week. If your income from all other sources is below this during the gap period, pension credit can top it up. Now let me address what happens if you simply cannot afford to wait. If the gap between your planned retirement date and your new state pension age is creating a genuine financial hardship, there are several options. First, continuing in employment or self-employment for the additional period is the simplest solution if your health and employment situation allows it. Every additional year of national insurance contributions also improves your state pension entitlement if you do not yet have 35 qualifying years. Second, speaking with your employer about flexible working arrangements for the gap period is worth considering. Many employers in 2026 are open to part-time, reduced hours, or phased retirement arrangements, particularly for older workers with institutional knowledge. A partial income from employment combined with ISA or pension withdrawals can bridge the gap more comfortably than either alone. Third, if you have a defined benefit or final salary pension, check your scheme rules carefully. Some schemes have a built-in state pension bridge, an additional payment during the gap period that reduces when state pension begins. Others have provisions for drawing pension income from age 60 or earlier under certain conditions. There is also a specific planning opportunity created by the delay that many people have not considered. The additional time before state pension age is additional time during which you can pay voluntary national insurance contributions to fill any gaps in your record. The deadline to fill national insurance gaps from the 2020 to 2021 tax year is the 5th of April 2027. If you have any gaps in your NI record from that year or more recently, and you now have an additional year or more before your state pension age, this is the window to address those gaps and ensure you claim the maximum state pension amount when you eventually do reach state pension age. Each qualifying year you add through voluntary contributions costs approximately £907 and adds approximately £358 per year permanently to your state pension. The return on investment pays back in approximately 2.5 years of pension receipt. Log into your personal tax account at gov.uk and review your national insurance record. If you have any gaps from 2020 to 2021 onwards, call the Future Pension Centre on 0800 731 0175 to confirm whether filling them would increase your state pension and by how much. Then make the payment before the relevant deadline. I also want to address the specific situation of people who are planning to use the deferral strategy. Deferral means choosing not to claim your state pension immediately upon reaching state pension age and instead delaying, earning an increase of approximately 5.8% per year on the eventual payment. For someone whose state pension age has now moved from 66 to 67, the deferral period begins later. Any deferral beyond the new state pension age of 67 still earns the same increment. But the involuntary delay caused by the state pension age increase itself does not count as deferral. You do not receive enhanced deferral credits for the period between your original planned retirement age and your new state pension age. The credits only accumulate if you choose to delay beyond your actual state pension age. If you were planning to defer voluntarily from 66 to 68 to earn 2 years of deferral credits, and your state pension age has moved from 66 to 67, you can now only earn 1 year of deferral credits by waiting from 67 to 68. The involuntary extra year from 66 to 67 gives you nothing in deferral terms. Now let me address something that affects a specific group of people born in the transitional window between April 1960 and March 1961, who are particularly confused by the current situation. These are people who, in some cases, have already reached age 66 and were expecting to receive their state pension, but have not yet received a letter from the DWP, or who received a letter but with a date that seemed later than expected. This is because the DWP sends state pension invitation letters approximately 4 months before the individual's personal state pension age date. For someone born in June 1960, whose state pension age is 66 and 2 months, the letter would arrive approximately in February 2027 to prepare for an April 2027 start. If you are in this transitional cohort, born between April 1960 and March 1961, and you are now 66 but have not yet received a state pension invitation letter, this is likely because your personal state pension age has not yet arrived. Use the gov.uk calculator to find your exact date. If your date has passed and you have not received a letter, contact the pension service on 080073 10469 to confirm your address is on file and to start the claiming process. The state pension is not paid automatically. You must apply. The DWP sends an invitation letter, but if that letter does not arrive because your address has changed or because there is an administrative issue, your pension does not start. Every month of delay in claiming after your state pension age is a month of payments you do not receive. Unlike most benefits, state pension payments can only be backdated for a limited period if you miss the start date. I also want to address the WASPI issue, because people born in the transitional window frequently ask about it. Women Against State Pension Inequality, WASPI, represents women born in the 1950s who were affected by the rise in state pension age from 60 to 65 between 2010 and 2018, and who say they were not adequately informed of the changes in time to prepare. The Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman found in 2024 that the DWP had maladministered the communication of those changes. The WASPI issue is specifically about women born in the 1950s, primarily between 1950 and 1960. It is a separate matter from the current state pension age increase from 66 to 67 that I have been describing. If you were born in the 1950s and were affected by the earlier pension age changes, that is a different group with a different ongoing situation that I have covered on this channel previously. For people born from 1960 onwards who are affected by the current 66 to 67 transition, the position is different. The legislation was enacted in 2014, over 12 years ago, and the DWP has communicated the changes over that period. While some individuals may not have been aware of their specific new state pension age date, the general transition has been public knowledge for significantly longer than the 1950s women's experience. Let me close with the specific actions I want you to take after watching this video. First, use the state pension age calculator at gov.uk to find your exact personal state pension age date. Do this today, not eventually. Knowing the precise date allows you to plan income for any gap period accurately. Second, if your state pension age has moved from what you previously expected, assess the income gap this creates and identify which income sources will bridge it. Workplace pension, personal pension from age 55 or 57, ISA savings, pension credit, or continued employment. Third, check your national insurance record for any gaps from 2020 to 2021 onwards. The additional time before your state pension age may be the perfect opportunity to fill those gaps through voluntary contributions before the 5th of April 2027 deadline. Fourth, if you are in the transitional birth cohort between April 1960 and March 1961, and you are now 66 but have not received a state pension letter, contact the pension service on 0800 731 0469 to confirm your situation and start the claiming process. The state pension age change is happening now. Knowing your exact date, understanding the income implications, and taking the specific actions I have described puts you in control of the situation rather than discovering the change when it is too late to plan for it. Send this video to one person in your life who was born between 1960 and 1977 and who has not yet checked their exact state pension age date. The conversation takes 5 minutes, The financial planning it enables could be worth thousands of pounds. I will see you in the next one. Let me go deeper on several aspects of this topic, because the practical planning details are what make the difference between managing this change smoothly and being caught off guard. On the income gap bridging strategy, I want to address the specific tax implications of different approaches, because this is where many people make costly mistakes. If you choose to make pension withdrawals to bridge the income gap, the tax position depends on whether you have a defined benefit scheme or a defined contribution scheme and how you access the money. For defined contribution pensions, the 25% pension commencement lump sum, sometimes called tax-free cash, is available on first accessing your pension. You can take up to 25% of your pension pot as a tax-free lump sum. Any further withdrawals are taxable income. If your only other income during the gap year is modest, the tax on further withdrawals may be at the basic rate of 20% or potentially zero if your total income stays below the personal allowance of £12,570. The personal allowance means that a single person can receive up to £12,570 per year in income from any source completely free of income tax. If your pension withdrawal plus any other income stays below this threshold during the gap period, you pay no income tax on it. The gap period before state pension age, particularly if you are not working, may be one of your lowest income years and therefore the most tax-efficient time to take pension withdrawals. For someone born in 1962, whose state pension age is now 67, the period between stopping work at 65 or 66 and reaching state pension age at 67 may represent 1 or 2 years of particularly low taxable income. Using pension withdrawals strategically during this period, staying within the personal allowance, can provide income without tax cost. And if you can also fit in a Roth equivalent ISA transfer of the withdrawn amount, or simply leave it in an ISA, the long-term tax position improves further. On the national insurance contribution opportunity, I want to be specific about how the additional time before state pension age creates a window that was not previously available. For someone who is planning to stop working at 66 and claim state pension immediately, filling NI gaps was perhaps less of a priority because the deadline and the state pension start date were close together. With the state pension age now at 67, there is an additional year in which earnings, whether from employment or self-employment, will generate qualifying national insurance contributions. This means that someone who had 1 or 2 gaps in their record may find those gaps filled naturally by the additional working year at no voluntary contribution cost. For gaps that will not be filled by continued working, the voluntary contribution route remains available. The 5th of April 2027 deadline for gaps from 2020 to 2021 is still the relevant urgency point. But someone who now has an extra year before claiming may have more financial flexibility to fund those contributions. On the deferral strategy, I want to address a specific calculation that is relevant for anyone born in the transitional window who is considering whether to delay claiming further beyond their new state pension age. The deferral increase of approximately 5.8% per year applies from the moment you pass your actual state pension age and choose not to claim. For someone born in June 1961, whose state pension age is 67, deferring from 67 to 70 would add approximately 17.4% to the weekly pension. At the current full new state pension rate of £241.30, deferring for 3 years from 67 to 70 produces a weekly pension of approximately £283. The difference is approximately £42 per week, or £2,184 per year. The break-even calculation for this deferral is as follows. 3 years of deferred pension at £241.30 per week equals approximately £37,643 foregone. At the increased rate of £283 per week, the additional annual amount is £2,184. The break-even is approximately 17 years of receiving the higher pension. For someone deferring at 67 and living to 87, the deferral produces positive results. For someone with health concerns, the calculation changes. The additional point about the age rise to 67 situation is that many people who were planning to retire at 66 and defer from 66 to 68 for 2 years of credits are now effectively being handed the first year of that deferral involuntarily by the state pension age change. If you were going to defer from 66 to 68 and your state pension age is now 67, you can now only choose to defer from 67. One of the 2 intended deferral years has been absorbed into the mandatory waiting period. The practical conclusion is that for anyone in the transitional cohort who had a specific plan involving deferral, that plan needs to be revisited in light of the changed state pension age. On the pension credit bridging option, I want to give the specific income figures that are relevant for someone using it during the gap period. If your income from all sources during the gap period, before state pension begins, falls below £238 per week as a single person, or £363.25 per week as a couple, you may be entitled to pension credit. This applies regardless of your age, as long as you have reached the pension credit qualifying age, which is generally the same as state pension age. For someone who has reached their state pension age but is in the transitional cohort whose state pension age has just moved to 67, they would not be entitled to pension credit until they reach their new, higher state pension age. This is a complication of the transitional arrangements. Check your pension credit qualifying age specifically using the gov.uk calculator, as it moves in line with your state pension age. If your income during the gap period is above the pension credit threshold, but you are still struggling with the loss of expected state pension income, other sources of support may be available. Universal credit, if you are below state pension age, is worth exploring. Housing benefit through your local council if you rent, and the Access to Work scheme through Job Centre Plus if you are continuing in employment with a health condition that affects your work. Let me close with a summary of the complete action list I want every person born between April 1960 and April 1977 to take this week. Check your exact state pension age using the calculator at gov.uk. Enter your date of birth and note the precise date. Compare it to when you previously expected to claim. If there is a gap, calculate the income shortfall in pounds per week and per year. Review your pension arrangements. Can you access a workplace or personal pension from age 55 or 57 to bridge the gap? Speak with your scheme if you are unsure of the rules. Check your national insurance record at gov.uk. Identify any gaps from 2020 to 2021 onwards. Call 0800 731 0175 before the 5th of April 2027 deadline to confirm whether filling those gaps would increase your pension. If you have already reached 66 and are in the transitional birth cohort but have not received a state pension letter, call the pension service on 0800 731 0469 to check your situation. And if your income during the period before your state pension age will be low enough, check your pension credit entitlement using the calculator at gov.uk. The change is real, the date is fixed, but with the right preparation, it is entirely manageable. I will see you in the next one.